Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you today, success is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of decision. It's not something that just happens by accident or by luck. No, success is a choice. You have to decide that you will succeed no matter the obstacles, no matter the challenges, and no matter the storms that come your way. I'm here to tell you that the keys to success are in your hands, and today we're going to unlock them together. Now, if you're ready to grab hold of your future, let's dive into 5 key principles that will transform your life. These are not suggestions. They are declarations of power. And today, you are going to make a decision to rise up and claim them. Success is born from belief. Let me tell you something today. Success is birthed from belief. You can have all the talent in the world, you can have the connections, the resources, but if you don't first believe in yourself, if you don't have faith in the potential that God has placed inside of you, then none of those other things matter. I want you to hear this because some of you are sitting in this room wondering if you're capable, questioning whether you have what it takes, looking at others and thinking, why not me? Well, I'm here to tell you that the question isn't, why not you? The question is, why aren't you believing in yourself? Success begins the moment you choose to believe. It begins when you look in the mirror and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I have everything I need to succeed. God has called me for a time like this, and I will not shrink back. You see, the journey starts right there in your mind, in the seat of your belief. If you can't see it, you can't seize it. You've got to get this in your spirit today. What you believe about yourself will determine the direction of your life. Your belief is the fuel that powers your actions, the engine that drives you through setbacks, through the trials, through the moments when everyone else doubts you, through the moments when you doubt yourself. You cannot afford to let the voices of negativity drown out the voice of faith. You've got to be louder with your belief than the world's disbelief. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Bishop, I've been through some hard things. I've seen my dreams shattered. I've tried and failed, but hear me. Failure is not your identity. It's a lesson. It's a step in the process. It's a part of your journey, not the final chapter. It doesn't define you. Belief in yourself is not about the absence of failure. Look at the story of David. The world saw a young shepherd boy with nothing but a slingshot and some stones. But David saw a warrior in the making. He looked at that giant Goliath and said, you come at me with a sword and a spear, but I come at you in the name of the Lord. David saw victory before he ever stepped onto the battlefield. His belief in the God who had delivered him from the lion and the bear fueled his confidence to defeat the giant. Belief is the difference between being stuck in a situation and overcoming it. There is power in what you believe. Your belief opens doors that your skills alone can't. When you believe in yourself, when you truly trust that God has equipped you for this moment, the enemy can try to close doors, but they can't stop you. The world can put up walls, but you will break through them. You are a force to be reckoned with. When you walk in the belief that success is already yours, but here's the thing, your belief must be active, not passive. Belief isn't just something you say with your lips, it's something you demonstrate with your actions. You can't say, I believe I'm going to be successful, and then sit back and wait for it to happen. Faith without works is dead. You've got to believe it so strongly that it drives you to take action, to step out when others are sitting still, to move when others are stagnant, to keep going when others are ready to quit. It's easy to say, I believe when things are going well, but do you still believe when the storm is raging? Do you still believe when the odds are stacked against you? Do you still believe when the door is locked and you don't have the key? You've got to hold on to your belief, even when everything else around you says it's impossible. When your circumstances say no, you've got to stand flat-footed and say, I serve a God who makes all things possible. You've got to believe that you are not just another person walking this earth. No, you are divinely designed with purpose, and there's a power inside of you that's greater than any opposition. When you make the decision to believe in your potential, you are declaring to the world that you will not be intimidated by your challenges. You are declaring that you will rise above the noise, the chaos, the opposition, and walk into the fullness of your destiny. But let me tell you, this is a mindset shift. Too many people spend their lives wondering if they have what it takes. Stop asking if and start saying, I am. Say, I am destined for greatness. I am a child of the King, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Your belief will push you forward even when you want to give up. Your belief will give you the strength to keep fighting even when you're tired. Your belief will open doors that others thought were sealed shut. So I ask you today, what will you believe? Will you believe the lies the world tells you about your limitations, or will you believe the truth of what God says about your potential? Success is born from belief. And the moment you choose to believe in yourself, the moment you decide that you are worthy, capable, and unstoppable, success will no longer be a dream. It will be your reality. Success requires action. I want you to hear me today. Success requires action. Faith without works is dead. You can pray all you want. You can talk about your dreams. You can write your vision down. But if you do not move, if you do not take action, then nothing is going to happen. You can sit there and wish all day, but wishing is not a strategy. Success is not about wishing. It's about deciding and doing. Too many people are waiting for the right moment to start. They're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect situation, the perfect opportunity. But let me tell you, there will never be a perfect time. If you keep waiting for everything to fall into place before you take action, you will be waiting forever. The right time is now. The moment to move is now. God has already given you the tools, the talent, the vision, and the purpose. What you need to realize is that God is not going to do it for you. He's already made the way, but now it's up to you to take action. You've got to move toward what you believe. You've got to put your faith to work. And I'm telling you right now, the breakthrough is in the move. Think about it. Nothing in this world gets accomplished without action. You can have a dream, but that dream won't move until you do. You can have a vision, but that vision won't come to pass until you take the first step. Success is not a spectator sport. You can't just watch others succeed and think, oh, if only I had that opportunity. The truth is, you have the same opportunity. The difference is in what you're willing to do with it. Let me show you an example. Think about the story of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. God didn't part the waters while they were still standing there waiting. No, God told them to move first. He told Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea. And when Moses took that step of faith, when he acted in obedience, that's when the miracle happened. God didn't part the sea until they started moving. God is waiting for you to move. You're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you. You've got to take that first step. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect, you'll be waiting forever. If you're waiting for your finances to line up, if you're waiting for the right connection, if you're waiting for your fear to subside, you'll miss the moment. Success requires you've got to move even when you don't have all the answers. You've got to step out even when you don't see the whole picture. You have to trust that when you take that first step, God will direct your path. You've got to act in faith, not in sight. Faith is a risk. Taking action is a risk. But success doesn't come to the timid. Success doesn't come to those who sit back and wait for someone else to make a move. Success belongs to those who take bold, courageous steps, even when they can't see the whole staircase. God will light the path as you go, but you've got to move first. Look at the story of the woman with the issue of blood. She had spent all her money on doctors, but nothing was working. She was sick broke and out of options. But something inside of her stirred, and she decided, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I will be made whole. She took action. She didn't wait for Jesus to come to her. She didn't wait for someone to invite her. She didn't wait for permission. She pressed through the crowd and took action. Your healing is in your action. Your breakthrough is in your action. But hear me clearly, action requires effort. Too many people want the rewards of success without the work that comes with it. They want the promise without the process. They want the glory without the grind. But you cannot skip the steps. Success is not an elevator to the top, it's a staircase. Every step you take is part of the process. Every step you take builds your strength, sharpens your focus, and prepares you for the success that is coming. Let's be real, there will be obstacles. There will be moments when you want to quit. There will be voices telling you that you're not good enough, telling you that you don't have what it takes. But you've got to silence those voices with action. Your actions will drown out the doubts, the fear, the negativity, and the lies that try to hold you back. When you move with purpose, nothing can stop you. Action also requires consistency. You've got to keep moving even when you don't see immediate results. Too many people give up too soon. They take one step and expect the whole mountain to move, but it doesn't work like that. Success is a process. It's one step after another. It's making progress even when the results aren't visible yet. You've got to trust that every small step you take is bringing you closer to the breakthrough you've been praying for. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? The time to move is now. You can't keep putting it off. You can't keep waiting for everything to be perfect. Success requires action, and it's time for you to take the first step. You may not have the whole plan. You may not have all the resources, but if you have a made-up mind, and if you take one step, God will show up and meet you right where you are. The rest will unfold as you move. You have to decide that success is yours. You've got to put your faith into action and begin moving toward your destiny. The doors of opportunity are waiting for you to knock, but nothing will happen until you act. The world will not hand you success. Success requires you to act on what you believe, even when you're scared, even when you're uncertain, and even when you feel like giving up. So today I challenge you, take action. Start where you are. Move with what you have. God will provide the rest, but you've got to move first. Success is in the movement. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the stars to align. The perfect moment is now. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to move. Embrace the struggle. Let me tell you something that you might not want to hear, but you need to hear it. Success is not born in comfort. Success does not come wrapped in a shiny package with a bow on top. Success is forged in the fire. It's refined in the furnace of struggle. If you're not willing to embrace the struggle, you'll never step into the fullness of your purpose. You see, the struggle is not your enemy, it's your teacher, it's your trainer, it's your preparation for greatness. Too many of us spend our time trying to avoid the struggle, trying to sidestep the pain, hoping that we can somehow float through life without experiencing hardship. But I'm here to tell you, you can't skip the struggle. Look at the story of Joseph. Joseph had a dream, a vision of his future. He saw himself in a position of greatness, ruling and reigning. But what did he encounter along the way? Struggle, betrayal, prison, rejection. The road to his destiny was paved with struggle. He went from the pit to the palace. But first, he had to go through the struggle. And here's what you need to know. The struggle was necessary. Without the pit, he would not have developed the resilience needed for the palace. Without the prison, he would not have developed the wisdom necessary to rule. Some of you are in the pit right now. You feel like you've been thrown down, rejected, and overlooked. But I'm telling you, the pit is not the end of your story. The pit is part of the process. God is working on you right now in ways you can't even see. He's strengthening you. He's building your character. He's preparing you. You see, the struggle is not meant to break you. It's meant to make you. I know it feels like it's too much sometimes. I know you're thinking, God, I didn't sign up for this. Why me? Why now? But listen to me. The struggle you're facing is not a punishment. It's a promotion. You'll be refined, purified, and prepared for something greater than you can even imagine. The Bible tells us that the refining fire of struggle and suffering makes gold pure. Do you know what happens when gold is put in the fire? It melts. The impurities rise to the surface and are removed. That's what the struggle does in your life. It brings to the surface everything that's holding you back, everything that's hindering your progress, everything that's keeping you from the next level. And as you endure, as you keep pushing, as you keep pressing, all those impurities are burned away, and you emerge stronger, wiser, and more refined. Now, I know that's not easy to hear. Nobody likes the fire. Nobody likes the storm. Nobody likes the struggle. But listen, if you can embrace the struggle, it will be the thing that catapults you into your destiny. You've got to stop running from the pain, stop trying to avoid the hard times. Instead, you've got to stand firm and say, this struggle is not going to break me, it's going to build me. Think about a seed. A seed is planted in the dark, in the dirt, and it's surrounded by pressure. It has to push through the soil, stretch its roots down deep, and fight its way to the surface. But once it breaks through, once it rises, it becomes something beautiful. The struggle is what allows it to grow, is what allows it to rise up and become everything it was meant to be. In the same way, you are a seed in the hands of the Creator. You are being planted in the soil of struggle because God is getting ready to bring you up. The darkness, the pressure, the pain is all part of the process. And when you break through, when you rise from this struggle, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be wiser, and you're going to be more beautiful. But you've got to embrace the struggle. You've got to stop looking at it as something to be avoided and start seeing it as the very thing that will shape you into who you were meant to be. The struggle is not the enemy, it's the tool that God is using to mold you. Let me remind you, you are not defined by your struggle. Your struggle does not define your worth. Just because you're going through a tough season doesn't mean that you are a failure. Just because you're in a battle right now doesn't mean you've lost. You are a warrior, and the battle you're facing is only sharpening your sword. I've seen it time and time again. People who are in the middle of a struggle, people who feel like they can't take another step, and yet they press on. They push through the pain. They refuse to quit. And do you know what happens? They come out on the other side stronger than they were before. They come out with a testimony. They come out with the kind of wisdom that can change the world. You've got to learn how to rejoice in the struggle. I know that might sound crazy. I know it doesn't feel good in the moment, but hear me. God is doing something in you through the struggle that He could never do through comfort. If you never had to fight for anything, you'd never know the power that's inside of you. If you never had to endure anything, you'd never know how strong you really are. The struggle is revealing your strength. And here's the key. Don't give up in the middle of the process. Some of you are halfway through and you're ready to quit. You've been in the fire long enough and you're saying, I can't take it anymore. But listen to me, the fire is almost over. The breakthrough is almost here. The closer you get to your destiny, the harder the enemy will try to make the struggle. But I want you to remember, your victory is in the struggle. The Apostle Paul said, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." In other words, everything you're going through right now, every tear, every pain, every setback, is nothing compared to the glory that God is going to reveal in your life. The struggle is not the end of your story. It's the bridge to your blessing. So don't run from it. Embrace the struggle. Let it mold you. Let it shape you. Let it prepare you for the greatness that is ahead of you. And know this, when you come out of this struggle, you will come out with power, with strength, and with a story that will change the lives of those around you. The struggle is your stepping stone. Stay focused on the vision. Let me say it loud and clear. You've got to stay focused on the vision. When you have a vision, when you've seen what God has promised you, when you've received the dream, you've got to set your sights on it and not let anything or anyone take your eyes off of it. The vision is your guiding light, your North Star, your compass. Everything in your life, every step you take must be directed toward that vision. But listen to me, there will be distractions. There will be voices. There will be obstacles. The enemy will try to make you lose your focus because he knows that if you stay focused, there's nothing you can't accomplish. I need you to hear this truth today. What you focus on grows. If you focus on your problems, they will get bigger. If you focus on your failures, they will consume you. But if you focus on the vision, if you focus on the promise, that vision will become your reality. Your vision is more powerful than your circumstances. The moment you lose focus is the moment you begin to lose sight of your purpose. And we cannot afford to lose sight of our purpose. We cannot afford to lose focus. Think about the story of Nehemiah. Nehemiah had a vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, a city that had been broken down, destroyed. Nehemiah was called by God to rebuild what was once shattered. But you know what happened? The moment Nehemiah started moving toward his vision, the distractions came. People tried to pull him off course. They tried to make him doubt. But Nehemiah did not waver. He stayed focused. He said, "I am doing a great work and I cannot come down." Nehemiah knew that nothing could stop him as long as he kept his eyes on the vision. That's what I want you to understand today. You are doing a great work. The vision God has placed inside of you is not small, it's not trivial, and it's not something that can be distracted or destroyed by the opinions of others. The work you're doing is sacred. The vision is bigger than you. It's about your family, it's about your community, it's about the legacy you're leaving. It's about the next generation that will benefit from the seeds you're planting today. So you cannot afford to lose focus. Now, I know that distractions are everywhere. They come in many forms. People who don't understand your dream, situations that make it seem impossible, feelings of doubt and fear that rise up inside of you. But here's what you need to know. Distractions are the devil's greatest weapon against your vision. He will try to distract you with fear. He will try to distract you with other people's opinion. He will try to distract you with frustration, but you have to decide that you will not be distracted. I want you to think about Peter for a moment. When Peter stepped out of the boat, when he began walking on water toward Jesus, everything was going fine. He was walking on water. But the moment he took his eyes off Jesus, the moment he became distracted by the wind and the waves, he began to sink. You cannot afford to take your eyes off your vision. If you start focusing on the problems, if you start focusing on the noise around you, you will lose your way. Keep your eyes fixed on the vision. Keep your eyes fixed on the promise. In order to stay focused, you've got to be clear about what you're working toward. Your vision has to be written down. It has to be tangible. You have to see it before you see it. Vision is not just a dream, it's a roadmap. It's the picture of the future that God has placed in your heart. And if you're going to make it a reality, you've got to keep it in front of you. Make it plain. Vision is not something that you just think about occasionally. It has to become the driving force in your life. Let me tell you this. The enemy will try to send people to distract you. He will use people who mean well, people who are close to you, to try and pull you off course. They'll tell you it's too hard, it's too risky, it can't be done. Don't you listen to those voices. If God is for you, who can be against you? You may face opposition. You may face rejection. You may face delays. But listen to me, none of that changes the vision. The vision was not dependent on your circumstances. The vision was not dependent on the economy, on the people around you, or on the time. The vision was placed in your heart by God, and it is secure. You've got to trust that what God has started in you, He will finish. Another thing that will try to pull you off course is your own doubt. You've got to learn how to silence the inner critic that tells you it's too late, or you're too old, or you don't have enough. When God calls you to a vision, He doesn't consult your limitations. He doesn't consult your history. He doesn't care about the mistakes you've made in the past. He sees what you are becoming. And if you will keep your focus on the vision, He will make a way where there seems to be no way. I know it's hard. I know the road is long and the obstacles are many. I know the struggle is real, but I want you to hear me. The vision is worth it. The pain you're going through, the delays, the disappointments, they're all part of the process. The vision requires perseverance. It requires patience. It requires you to keep your eyes on the prize, even when you can't see the finish line. You can't quit now. You can't give up now. You've come too far. The vision is too important. The purpose is too great. You have to stay focused. And you have to keep moving forward. I want to remind you of this. God is with you. He didn't give you the vision to leave you stranded. He didn't put that dream in your heart just to watch you fail. He is with you every step of the way. And if you will stay focused on the vision, if you will keep your eyes on what God has promised, then you will see it come to pass. So I say to you today, stay focused. Keep moving toward the vision. Don't let distractions pull you off course. Don't let people's opinions make you second. Guess what God has told you? Keep your eyes on the prize and keep pressing forward. The vision is not just a dream, it's a destination. And if you stay focused on it, there's no force in hell that can stop you from reaching it. Stay focused, and your vision will become your reality. Never let fear dictate your destiny. Listen to me today. Fear is a liar. Fear is the weapon that the enemy uses to paralyze you, to steal your vision, and to rob you of the life God has already ordained for you. Fear will tell you that you can't do it, that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that the dream is too big. But I want you to hear this with every fiber of your being. You cannot let fear dictate your destiny. You see, fear is not the problem. It's how you respond to fear that determines your future. Everyone feels fear, even the most successful people, even the most anointed people, even the people who have achieved greatness. They all face fear. Fear is not what holds you back. What holds you back is the decision to allow fear to control. Let me tell you something powerful. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward, even when you're afraid. Courage is trusting God when every voice around you is telling you to turn back. Courage is taking that step of faith, even when your knees are shaking and your heart is racing. Courage is deciding that you will not let fear control you. Think about the story of Moses. God called Moses to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. And do you know what Moses said? God, I'm not the right person. I'm not qualified. I can't speak. I can't do this. Moses was terrified, but God said, Moses, I will be with you. You don't have to do it alone. And in that moment, Moses had to decide whether fear would control him or whether faith would lead him. I know that some of you are facing a Moses moment right now. You've been called to something greater, but fear has been trying to hold you back. You've heard the voice of God calling you to step out, to launch out into the deep, to move forward in faith, but fear has been whispering in your ear, telling you that you can't. Fear has been reminding you of all the reasons you're not ready, all the mistakes you've made, all the failures you've faced. But I need you to know that fear is lying to you. The moment you decide to act in faith, fear will lose its grip on you. You cannot allow fear to dictate your decisions. You cannot let fear decide what you're going to do with your life. You have a purpose, and that purpose is too great to be controlled by fear. Look at David. David was just a young shepherd boy when he faced Goliath, the giant. Now, let me tell you, David had every reason to be afraid. Goliath was a warrior, a giant of a man, and David was just a boy with a sling and a stone. But David didn't focus on the size of the giant. He didn't focus on how impossible it seemed. He focused on the power of his God. He knew that with God on his side, no giant was too big. He knew that fear was nothing compared to the power of God in him. David faced his fear head on, and the giant fell. That's what I want you to understand today. Your giants are not as big as you think they are. Fear will make them seem bigger, but the moment you step out in faith, you will see them fall. Fear is a giant that only has power when you give it permission. When you refuse to give in to fear, when you choose to trust God, you will see those giants crumble at your feet. Now, some of you are still struggling with fear. You're thinking, but what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? And I get it. The fear of failure can be paralyzing. But hear me, failure is not the end, it's a lesson. Failure is part of the process. The road to success is paved with failure, but it's only failure if you stop moving. If you keep going, if you learn from your mistakes, if you grow from your struggles, then it's not failure, it's experience. You see, the devil wants to keep you in a cycle of fear and failure. He wants you to believe that every mistake is the end of the road. He wants you to think that if you fail, it's over. But God has a different plan for you. God says that failure is not final. It's not the end. Failure is just a stepping stone. You've got to stop letting fear control your destiny. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that you won't have moments of doubt. But I am saying this, you can't let fear stop you. Fear will come, but you've got to make a decision to move anyway. You've got to press forward in faith, even when you don't know how it's going to work out. Remember the story of the woman with the issue of blood. She had suffered for 12 long years. She had spent all her money on doctors, and no one could help her. But she heard that Jesus was passing by, and she didn't let fear stop her. She didn't let the crowd stop her. She didn't let her condition stop her. She pushed through the crowd, pressed through the pain, and touched the hem of his garment. And in that moment, she was healed. This woman had every reason to be afraid. She could have been embarrassed. She could have been ashamed. She could have let fear hold her back. But instead, she made a choice. She chose faith over fear. She chose action over inaction. And that's the decision you have to make today. You have to decide that fear will no longer dictate your destiny. You have to make a choice that you will not be ruled by what ifs, by doubts, or by failures. You have to choose to move forward in faith even when it doesn't make sense. Let me tell you something. Fear is temporary, but your destiny is forever. Don't let something that's temporary control something that's eternal. Don't let something that is fleeting steal from something that is everlasting. Your purpose, your destiny, your future, they are worth fighting for. And fear is not worth letting go of everything God has for you. So today I want you to make a decision. Decide that fear will no longer have a hold on you. Decide that no matter how big the mountain, no matter how loud the voices, no matter how strong the fear, you will keep moving forward. You will trust God. You will believe in the vision He's giving you, and you will not allow fear to dictate your destiny. You will not allow fear to dictate your destiny. You're more than a conqueror. You are called to greatness. Your future is bright and fear cannot dim it. Keep moving forward and keep trusting God. Your destiny is waiting for you on the other side of fear, and there's nothing that can stop you. Not fear, not doubt, not failure. Your destiny is secure in God's hands. And it's time to walk boldly into it